Everything is possible in your life when you believe.
This for the ones look up to me. I ain't running in these streets. I just been rapping on these beats. Put all your time in your drink. If you got it.
As you can see by the title, this is my top 10 UFC fighters I thought would touch gold. Let's get right into it.
Dan Hardy has a very good lead left hook. Oh, there it is! Just like that! Trying to finish it!
Kicking off this list, we got my main man, Dan Hardy, with a career record of 25-10 with 1 no contest. He made his UFC debut in 2008 and reeled off 4 consecutive wins back to back to back to back. That led up to a title shot with my guy, GSP, which he did fall short in. And that started a downward trajectory on his career, losing 4 in a row and never sniffing another title shot again. Dan Hardy was, and I will say, he's one of the fighters that I've seen on, I think it was YouTube, and he's like the red colored mohawk, it drew me in. So Dan Hardy is one of the fighters that made me start watching UFC and MMA in general. So thank you for that, Dan. At number 9, we got our guy, the fan favorite, Donald Cerrone, coming in with a record of 36-17 with 2 no contests. After the WEC was bought, Donald Cerrone made his debut in 2011, and he was able to become a star. He became a star without a belt. He's one of those guys. There's a lot of them, but he's one of those guys that every fan loves and loves to watch him fight. But he did get 1 title shot, and he came up short and got finished in the first round by RDA in 2015. But yeah, Donald, I mean, it's hard to put what you did. It's hard to put into words what you did for the sport, and thank you.
Brock is hurt. A kick to the body. So much punishment to the body. This is going to be it. That's it. It's over.
At number 8 on the list, we got Overeem, Alistair Overeem, the K1 kickboxing dynamo, whatever you want to call him, amassed a record of 47-19, and within that 47, he beat up 3 former UFC champs. Listen, he was so close to being champ, not in the fight with Stipe. Stipe mauled him, but like every time he'll build up to get to a title shot, he's just crumble. He'll crumble. And this knockout right here, kids probably shouldn't have watched that live. I thought he was dead at first, but yeah, Reem, he just never could get over the hump whenever he had to. Now Overeem, when he was juiced up, that man's dangerous. That's like a walking nuke. But yeah, Overeem surprisingly never won a UFC heavyweight title. How do y'all feel about that? Let me know.
Some combinations and move forward. Keep Lombard on his heels. That right hand's landing. There goes Lombard. Anthony Smith has you.
On this list, we have the only active UFC fighter, Mr. Anthony Lionheart Smith. He has a record of 37-18, and he is probably the only contender on this list that could have won a world title with a simple handshake of saying no, as he was illegally kneed by John Jones in their fight, and could have won the belt by disqualification. A lot of people would have took it. I respect you for not taking it, but I don't think he's getting close to another title fight. But he has 2 former UFC champs under his belt, and Rashad Evans and Shogun Rua. Even though Shogun and Rashad Evans was out of their prime, still a good win to have under your belt. He does have a fight here soon, I believe. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna put it up if he does, and with some luck in it. Hopefully this list is wrong. If it is, I have no problem going back and saying it, but I just don't see it happening.
The anticipated main event now underway.
Number 6 on this list is my personal favorite fighter on this list. I hope that makes sense. Mr. Marlon Moraes. He had a career record of 23-13 with 2 former champions under his belt. Aljamain Sterling was, some people will call him the bantamweight GOAT. He made him do the chicken dance. And Jose Aldo, yeah, after his loss to Henry Cejudo, He bounced back with a win over Jose Aldo, and after that he lost 7 in a row. Yeah, 7 in a row. I think all of them was by KO, TKO too, and he never looked the same after.
Oh yeah,
Number 5 on this list is somebody I was debating putting on this list because of one of his title fights and how it went. But we have the Soldier of God, Yoel Romero. He has 3 former champions under his belt: Luke Rockhold, Chris Weidman, and Lyoto Machida. All 3 of them was finished by Yoel Romero. And Yoel Romero will be completely off his list if he can make weight. That finish over that man, Luke Rockhold, was great. I just wish he could have made weight for it. I mean, it was there for him. It was there. It sucks to put him on a list like this, but you don't do that to the division and not get put on a list like this. So at number 5, we got Yoel Romero.
that exchange.
There's a huge big lead, Gustafsson. Jimmy's hurt. Jimmy's down. He's wobbled. He's down. Alexander has finished.
Number 4 on this list, we have the man that arguably gave John Jones his toughest fight at the time, Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson. He has 3 former world champs under his belt: Jan Blachowicz, Shogun Rua, and our very own Glover Teixeira, who actually aged really, really well with time, which is crazy to me. Yeah, rewatching that first fight with John Jones, that's a brawl. That is a brawl, and I am very surprised that he lost to DC in their title fight. But Alexander Gustafsson, during that little period, it sucks to call him, but he was definitively the 2nd best light heavyweight on the planet. So number 4, we're going with Alexander Gustafsson.
For a takedown, defended that, and I pushed him right into my right hand.
Oh, huge right hand from Hendo.
At number 3 on this list, we have the OG Dan Hendo Henderson, with a career record of 32-15 and 4 former champs under his belt: Nogueira, Vitor Belfort, Michael Bisping, and our very own Shogun. Shogun's on a lot of these people's hit lists. This is crazy because Shogun was one of them ones in his prime, but he still holds probably one of the most viral knockouts ever on Michael Bisping. Yeah, it's right here. It's the logo of his company, for God's sakes. Yeah, if you look up a UFC highlight film, that punch is probably on it still, and that happened like I want to say 10-12 years ago. Yeah, number 3 on the list, Dan Henderson. He had a chance to win it in his final fight against Michael Bisping in the rematch. He just came up short. But number 3, Dan Henderson.
Respect you, Ryan, taking on a man like this after being.
Number 2 on this list, we have the California Kid, Uriah Faber, who fell short in 4 title chances in the UFC. Lost 3 by decision and lost 1 by KO TKO versus Henry Morale. It's a bad look, because if Uriah Faber was able to win a title, I think the UFC would have pushed that man to the moon. To the moon. They loved everything about him. I mean, he's one of those guys where I think the UFC was like, we can't fight for you. We just can't fight for you at that point. But yeah, Uriah Faber has some great fights, and his team, Alpha Male, they're doing great things still. So number 2 on the list, Uriah Faber.
Excellent combination from Benavidez, and a huge knee. Formiga's hurt. Formiga is down, and he's covering up. That'll do.
Number 1 on my UFC fighters to never touch gold list is Joseph Benavidez. I think we all knew where I was going with this. The only reason he's at 1 and Uriah Faber's not at 1 is because of the way Benavidez lost his title fights. I think all but one of those was a finish, and that's the first fight with Demetrius Johnson. I mean, and the rest of them, they was not good. I think the second Figueiredo fight, I was kind of scared the way he went out due to that choke. It was time, and I think Askarov kind of put a nail on it. Yeah, he was a fun fighter. He was a real fun fighter. He was consensus the number 2 fighter at 125 twice. He was number 2 when Demetrius Johnson was reigning champ, and then Figueiredo's term when he was champion. He was consensus number 2. But how do y'all feel about the list? Let me know down in the comments what fighter you think I left off of the list. And like always, be good people. Peace.